I'm Bonnie, and I am here today to talk to you about what successful students do. Now, I've already talked to you about successful students setting goals and how they work towards achieving those goals, including delaying gratification and having grit. That is persevering even when things look awful. You just keep on going. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how successful students can increase the likelihood of making good decisions. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've been into a lot of high schools, and some of them have been amazing high schools. High schools where I think every student should have an opportunity to go. Other high schools I found a little scarier. There was one high school in particular that I walked in, and up on the wall, right when you came in, it said, "You are one bad decision away from ruining the rest of your life." How incredibly ominous, how incredibly sad. So the first thing I want to tell you about making good decisions is that for the most part, except for a very rare few type of decisions, most bad decisions will not lead to just a terrible, awful end. But making good decisions always tends to make things a little bit easier. And scientists like me who study the science of success know that decision making takes place in this portion of the brain right up here. It's called the frontal cortex. That's where you make the bulk of your decisions. And so anything that increases the functioning of your frontal cortex is going to help you make better decisions. It really is that simple. And so right now, I'm going to be talking to you about how to maximize that prefrontal cortex, or that frontal cortex, because up here is a portion of our cognitive function called the working memory. Working memory is how much information you can hold on to at one time within your brain. It's kind of like the desktop of a computer. So your working memory is how much information you can hold on to at one time. That means you have to be consciously processing it. You have to be trying to keep that information in your working memory. You have to know that it's there, right? So for example, if you meet a person and they give you your name and you're not processing it properly, you know how quickly we can forget their names. Off it goes, right? Working memory works that way. It'll clean out everything if you're not in your memory, if you're not holding on to it, if you're not actively trying to keep it. But what's great about working memory is that the bigger it is, the more difficult problems you can solve. And that's whether you're talking about a math problem, or you're talking about writing a big essay, or if you're talking about preparing a speech, or even if you're talking about solving a social problem that you might have with your classmates, right? The bigger your working memory, the better your ability to solve problems. The better your ability to make good decisions. So, the question is, what can we do to increase our working memory capacity? And there are several things that we can do. I think one of the most important and one of the most exciting is that working memory gets bigger simply through practice. You use your working memory, it gets bigger. So let's say you want to be better at interacting with your classmates. The way that you do that so that you can make better decisions in interacting with your classmates is you practice interacting with your classmates. You interact with your classmates, your working memory gets better, your working memory gets bigger, your ability to solve problems gets better. If you want to improve math, all you do is practice. It really truly is that simple. Your working memory gets bigger, your ability to solve more complex problems in math gets better. It is that simple. If you want to get better at writing and making a decision as to what words are going to go in your sentence and what sentences are going to structure into your paragraphs and how the paragraphs are going to be ordered, all you have to do is practice. With practice, your working memory will get bigger, your writing will get better. It's an absolutely amazing thing that our brain, that our frontal cortex has this level of what scientists call plasticity. With effort, it will get bigger. So, that's how we make it bigger. What are some things that negatively impact working memory? What are some things that decrease working memory? Working memory decreases anytime anybody has strong emotions. That's right. If you're sad, if you're grieving, if you are super excited, if you're prideful, any kind of strong emotion, if you're angry, your working memory decreases. Well, if we know that our working memory decreases with strong emotion, then we know that if we want to increase our working memory, we just have to regulate or control and manage our emotions. So, we can increase our working memory through practice. We can increase our working memory through activities that help regulate our emotions, that help keep us not super angry or super sad, but more in that middle area of emotionality. Working memory decreases with drugs and alcohol. You will find that the people who are solving the most complex problems in our world avoid drugs, they avoid alcohol, because they recognize that these things hurt our working memory and decrease our working memory and then cause us to make bad decisions. So you want to avoid drugs, you want to avoid alcohol if you want to make good decisions. Working memory also decreases when you are stressed. Stress decreases working memory. Now, how do you deal with stress? My next video is going to be talking about that exact thing. And in doing so, your working memory will increase, and as a consequence, you will be able to make good decisions. So thank you for listening, and happy thinking.